Hi, I'm Sarah Leinberger, the Vice President of Marketing for Yoobi Brands, and you are joining us today on the CPGGUYS podcast.
Welcome to the CPGGUYS podcast. Your hosts, Shri Rajagopalan and Peter V. Espan, explore how brands and retailers engage consumers in an increasingly digitally driven world. And now, here are the CPGGUYS.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the CPGGUYS. I'm of course Shri, your co-host and CRO and co-founder of Think Blue Consulting, your trusted partner in your omni-channel development journey. You can get in touch with me at Shri at Think Blue Consulting. That's CO. Nope, that's CO, not COM. Please do listen to my older daughter's music at www.riaraj.com and follow Laura Raj, my younger daughter, is a member of the world's fastest growing global girls group, Cat's Eye. And hello, they've just won an MTV VMA. The moon person has come home, and I can't wait to touch it. So I'll just be honest about that. I'm unable to join me today is my co-host and co-founder, Peter V. Espan, who also moonlights as head of industry and client engagement at Flywheel, the commerce acceleration division of Omnicom. Make sure you're subscribing to our podcast on your preferred listening platform where you can get our latest episodes and even go back to consume some of the 500 plus episodes we've already published. Today's episode is actually with someone I've known from my General Mills days. She was a great partner to me as a sales leader, working with marketing in the fast-developing snacks marketing space. She's a true digital and omnichannel leader, one of the very few I encountered in the industry with a background in retail as well from Target. Sarah led brand experience, connected commerce, marketing transformation initiatives where she drove double-digit e-commerce growth, modernized the food service digital shelf, and launched award-winning full-funnel campaigns. Prior to that, as I mentioned at Target, she was the pioneering digital merchandising leader who helped bridge online and in-store strategies, including the launch of some of the company's first joint assortments and omnichannel marketing efforts. Sarah Leinberger, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Can you tell I've been looking forward to this one?
I am so excited. And on the heels of the VMAs, what the heck? This is a big week. I'm super excited.
Super excited to have you on the podcast. We'll, of course, include in the digital show notes of this episode your links to your LinkedIn profile and that at Yoobi. So let's jump right into it, Sarah. You ready for this?
I am so excited. Yes, I'm ready.
So I use the word Yoobi, but tell our audience, what is the Yoobi story? What was the consumer problem it solves in a crowded market stationery? How does Yoobi stand out to shoppers, retailers, and partners? Why should they care?
Yes. So Yoobi is an amazing back-to-school supply company. And we started with a really powerful mission. We knew that there was children all over the United States that didn't have the basic supplies that they needed to learn and grow. So we wanted to start with a powerful mission of buy one, give one. For every product you purchase, we give to a student in need. And we are working to create a broader platform that consumers, retailers, and our licensing partners can all be a part of to create that powerful mission. And so today it shows up for us in three different ways. One, that buy one, give one strategy is the core of everything that we do. So we are continuing to give back to students in need. Second, we show up as a partner in everything that we do. So when we are working with retailers or working with licensed partners, we always work with them to determine what the biggest impact that we can have and what the students need today. And then third, we work to be really trend forward. So we have some of the world's largest brands and licenses as our partners. Barbie, Harry Potter, Star Wars, etc. And so everything we do is with that mission in mind to spark creativity and bring joy to students around the country.
So when you say give back to students, what does that actually mean?
It means school supplies. So what's interesting in the world today is that there are millions and millions of kids that truly don't have pencils, crayons, markers, the basic necessities. And there's over 94% of teachers that are reaching into their own pockets to try to fill that gap, upwards of up to $900 a year. And so we know that that's not sustainable. We know we need to give back. And so we are working to bring the basic supplies to students all around the country.
Yeah, why it is that way in the first place, that teachers have to give out of their pocket just to put stationery in class will never makes sense to me. Or to Peter, I'm sure. But thank you for doing your part to actually make a positive change in education. So now your own journey. You come from Target, General Mills. These are not exactly small companies or startups. These are behemoths leading in the categories. They are billions of dollars in market cap, a lot of process, a lot of bureaucracy. Let's just call it as it is. And most of the strategies that are developed at these large companies are essentially developed on the basis of protection or how to avoid not take notice and avoid liability. You're now in a startup where you have the ability to be yourself and write stories for Yoobi. So in your own journey, what's the biggest change you're experiencing? Is it all roses and daisies, easy stuff?
Same challenges, different companies sometimes, but honestly, the biggest muscle that I'm working is really speed to ideas. So we can go from a spark of an idea to execution within a matter of days. And so it is so fun to be a part of. I am really grateful for the strategy that I've been able to learn and grow from within those big companies. But here in Yoobi, ideas don't even have the chance to sit in a PowerPoint for a month or two. We literally are moving constantly to make sure that we are bringing what our consumers need, what our retailers need, what our licensing partners need to unlock the biggest ideas.
But in terms of the process, the bureaucracy, do you miss that? Or can you act faster now because it's a startup?
We can act very fast. I think it is still all about alignment.
No more 7 layers of leadership to ask questions. And remember those interview questions you were asked, how will you align 17 layers of people?
Yes.
None of that stuff, right?
Well, there's still people to align. So it's just more about the partnerships now.
No, but that's normal though. But is it 17?
There's not 17. There's not 17 layers.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I will say we do not spend a year kind of developing what our plans process looks like. We are spending days and weeks, maybe months on a few different components, but to really be trend right too, we don't have the luxury of taking that much time. We have to constantly be iterating.
And do you feel there's a difference in just time to market and actionability? In large companies, everything is 18 months to launch an innovation. In a startup, is it a similar mode? Is it much faster?
So much faster. Honestly, we have, since I've been here, even seen us take a nugget of an idea and have a partner and the retailer on the phone within a couple of days, and we have the next big idea. And so it is literally within days that we are bringing forward new ideas.
So the flip side of that, Sarah, is very large brands tend to have deep relationships at very senior level in retailers and can move mountains. Now, for a startup, does it work the same way? Do you find that right buyer? Is it always at the buyer side on the retailer, and that's where you get stuck? How does that work?
Yeah, we're really fortunate that we have some great relationships across the retail and the licensing world, just based on our network of people internally within the company. But we are subject, I would say, just to constantly be trying to show up and make sure that people understand who we are, what we stand for, and what we can bring forward. Because we're small and nimble, we can move mountains really, really quickly. And sometimes that's things the bigger guys aren't as able to do. And so that's part of our competitive advantage.
They call you an ankle biter. Are you really an ankle biter or really with the power and muscle you have of being able to move fast? You're actually a share problem for large companies.
It's interesting. I would say,
I don't like the word ankle biter. That's so stupid. It's so outdated.
I will say
it's crafted by us from large companies.
Oh, well, yes. I will say at the big companies, we always talked about the ankle biters, the people who could move fast and take insights and turn them into ideas really quickly. And that's what we're doing.
We'd also dismiss them, those Sarahs. They're very small, they're irrelevant. It's like 0.001% share. Mm-hmm. A lot has changed though with digital though.
Oh, 100%. And I think we continue to see that evolution in the marketplace where the big guys, it's just really hard to move a really big ship. And so the people that can act quickly on insights are the ones that are winning.
The aircraft carrier. So if you come to the CPG guys, we have to ask you about retail media and we have to talk distribution from my past days. Mm-hmm. So how are you folks approaching distribution? Give us an overview of where we can find your products, as well as you are a retail media expert and you can't say no to me because I know that. So how are you leveraging both of those to scale Yoobi in 2025 and beyond?
Well, so a couple different things I'll say. So we were born as a back to school brand and we actually started as Target exclusive. And so we have a very special relationship with Target and in the back to school segment. But as we are continuing to grow and develop, we are really thinking about how we become a 365 brand with all the key touch points that our consumers need. And so really anchored in Target and Amazon, and continuing to think about Walmart and some of the broader distribution so that we can show up every place that our consumer needs and wants to find us. And then continuing to invest in retail media. We know retail media is just a core part of the retail world, and it's really, really important for our consumers to be able to find and know and understand us. And so the unique thing about both of those things being true is that we know that no retailer is one size fits all, and we know no retail media program is a one size fits all. And so what we are really working to do is understand how do we continue to be special in the ways that the retailers need us to be, while continuing to scale, because ultimately at the end of the day, every single product still is benefiting a student in need, no matter where we are selling. And so we want to continue to have that impact in the world.
So talk to us about distribution, though. What's the plans go forward? Because you're surely not a small trick pony or a one trick pony.
It is not a one-trick pony. No. So we are continuing full court press across many different retail touch points. And so within the next year or so, I hope you see us in more stores and more with more brands. And so I can't share a ton right now, but if you think about the big guys and then all the other places that you might find school supplies, stationery, et cetera, our hope is that we can be all of those places.
Why big guys only? Why not the big gals?
Big guys and gals. Yes, all the big guys and gals, including DTC. You can find us. We do have a small DTC business, which we are continuing to think about and grow as well.
So let's jump there. How is Yoobi leveraging the digital shelf, which is content, everything from how you design the product name online to all the bullet points, etc., the images, the videos, etc. So how are you leveraging the digital shelf, D2C, or omni-channel touch points to stay close to consumers?
It's interesting because we've continued to scale and grow so quickly. Our biggest opportunity right now is actually getting back to the basics and the foundation. So we know things like PDP, ratings and review, retail media are critical enablers to the future. And so we are really thinking about that surround. We also know that particularly in our category, people are finding and discovering products via social media, influencers, et cetera. And so our goal is to connect the funnel throughout all of that to make sure that we are ultimately driving conversion and bringing folks back to the retailer or to our D2C, typically to the retailer, so that we can continue to drive that conversion.
What about the omni-channel shelf? How are you guys leveraging it? Because this is a huge advantage you have versus large brands, which have to go through 7 layers of legal approval, PR approval, comms approval before anything can be put out. Are you nimble? Are you able to change your digital shelf content fast as required? Are you on top of search keywords monthly and you're able to act? I mean, you are the marketing captain, aren't you?
Yeah, yes, marketing captain, right here at your service. Yes, 100%. We are continuing to learn and change and grow. And I think that we're working on routines and habits around that. I'm really excited about what AI can unlock for us in the future too, of just constantly listening and understanding what people are talking about, what they need, et cetera. But yes, we can move very quickly and pivot as the market needs.
Then how do you think about digital shelf content itself? Is it a primary strategy in competing with the large competition you have in a crowded marketplace? Is it an asset or is it par for the course? Just you got to get it done at this point.
Great question. I would say it is a little bit of both. We have to have the strong foundation. Like it is table stakes, I think, to show up in the right way in the world. No longer, I think during back to school, people so easily think about I'm in the store and I'm shopping based on whatever is right in front of me, or I've got a school list. Yoobi is all about the fun and the creativity. And then therefore there's a huge component of discovery within what we're doing. And so when you think of the PDP content, as you think of keywords, as you think of how we're showing up in social media, we need to be really relevant and really connected to what is happening culturally and in terms of trends so that we are there in front of the consumer. Particularly as we think about our licensing partners, we are the stuff the kids love and they get excited about, and mom's not going to know about us unless we're showing up on that digital shelf, connecting the dots for her and helping her find, if she prefers to shop in store, where she can find us.
Will we see a cat's eye crayon in the future?
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Can we? That would be amazing. That would sell like hotcakes.
No, I said will we.
Oh, yes. Can we sign the deal?
So I want to go back.
I'm negotiating with the right guy, right? Are you the right guy?
No comment. So omnichannel, right? As a very large brand, typically retailers talk a lot about click and collect, shipping, delivery, all this stuff. Do you have similar conversations? Are you able to participate in any of that? Because you are a smaller brand and a startup, is your conversation primarily related to getting it on the shelf and then the retailer handles all of that and you're not really engaged in the omnichannel? positioning or conversation?
I would say we're growing in our relationship with our retailers. Yes, I would say as a smaller guy, we have less power around the end distribution play. But of course, with all of the different market factors at play, everything from tariffs and pricing pressure to competitive to just ongoing consumer constraints, we have a bigger seat at the table just to continue to think about what that looks like. And that is continuing to evolve.
And so, Sarah, I got to ask you the hot topic of the year. You can guess what the buzzword is: AI, personalization. I don't think there's any conversation taking place in marketing today where people aren't asking about personalization and then what the role of AI is. So tell us about how you're thinking about both of these and how you are delivering some or personalization for your customer.
Yeah. What is really fun also about being at a small guy is we use AI every single day. We are embedding it into our daily practices. We're thinking about what it can unlock for us in the future, which is something that's not always true, I think, at some other organizations. And so for us, I think it's the biggest benefit right now to us is really just ingesting huge amounts of data and information and insights. As a small guy, you don't always have the ability to be out there scraping and finding what all is happening in the world. And we can do that really, really quickly. And so that, I think, is a game changer for us to be on top of trends, listening to the consumer and knowing what move we need to take next. I think we are on the journey of personalization. As a smaller guy, it is tougher for us to really think about all the dynamic ways that we can show up. But it is something that is super top of mind for us as we continue to think about AI of the future.
The listening you refer to is that social listening. Like, how do those insights come in? I got to imagine, again, as a startup, you're much more acutely tuned into what those are and where to look.
Yes, that is one of the biggest things I will say, coming from a big guy to a small guy, that has been a really interesting change for me. So what I mean by that is when you are at one of the big players, you have a whole function that is thinking about insights and what you need to know to better understand your consumer. When you are at a smaller brand, you are just naturally needing to listen and be out there every single day. And so I have AI scrape a ton for brands, trends, consumer listening, social, et cetera. When, of course, I'm shopping online or I'm in a store, I'm constantly taking pictures and sharing with my team so that we can, go deeper or think about what impact that might have for our consumer. And so it's just this always on listening strategy. And of course, any friends, family, et cetera, they all have probably received or soon to receive Yoobi product from me because I want to understand what they think about it, how their kids like it, et cetera. And so it's just a different mindset.
From a brand storytelling perspective versus a retail storytelling perspective, do those objectives always come together? Do you have to shape it to come together? How does that process work?
It's interesting. I think we're on.
Let me tell you the reason I ask you that, Sarah. I have other friends who also have stationery companies. Larry Rosen owns Rosart and Rosandar. They're very big crayon makers, and I'm very familiar with the stationery category. What he tells me is it's a very tough business and that most of your business is done during back to school.
Yes. So we are growing up from being a back to school business to really being kind of an all year business because there is a constant need both for kids and for their parents or other consumers. But it is our unique competitive advantage is the fact that we have such a powerful mission. And so our purpose stands for itself. And then we have really fun, unique products that you don't find everywhere, or that not everybody has. We really lean into the joy of the writing and the stationery and the home goods, and so it's something that we're very lucky kind of speaks for itself or kind of creates some of its own story. But we are really focused on how do we connect the dots across all of the different touch points with that, because the more people know about us and the more people make the choice to purchase us because of that, the bigger impact we can have in the world.
I wanted to ask you that question. You clearly said the joy of using stationery. What does that mean? How do you create the joy?
We believe that creativity can truly unlock brighter futures. And so if we can equip things that are fun to use, that are our consumers' favorite licenses, if they can get excited about the stuff that they're bringing to school, they will be more engaged in learning. They'll be more prepared for the future. And as we're giving to the students in need across the country, truly art is such a powerful unlock in terms of social and emotional regulation and the ability to create the confidence for a brighter future. And so there's joy woven not only in what we do every single day, but just in the products themselves, which we are really, really proud of.
Storytelling is everything at the end of the day, right? So let me remind our audience that I'm speaking with Sarah Leinberger from Yoobi Brands. As a growing brand, how do you balance investments in media versus broader awareness-driving channels? So top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, how do you balance those? Can't be easy.
It is not easy. I feel like it's a common problem no matter who you are and where you're at. But I think for us, we do have to be really focused on those foundations, kind of as I mentioned before. But I think the unique part for us is really bringing that storytelling through the full funnel. We need to make sure every single touch point tells the consumer about who we are and the mission that we have in the world. And so we are constantly thinking about how we make every single dollar work to do the heavy lifting across all of that. We are very imperfect. We are working on that. But I think a year from now, my hope is that's even better connected and more people know about us and our mission.
But then, Sarah, as a marketer, though, given the background that you have working with very large marketing budgets, I mean, you and I would have discussions in the millions. Average campaign, $250,000 or more. We weren't doing $10,000 campaigns. I imagine now it's a very different budget structure. Do you have some sort of a algorithm in your head that says a third goes to upper funnel, a third goes to middle? Or is it because you're so nimble, you just figure all this out on the fly?
That's a great question. I would say what is really interesting, or what I've experienced, is some of the same CPG truths are still the same. So when you think of blend of purpose versus performance marketing, or when you think upper middle, lower funnel, those truths are still generally the same. I think we just have to get scrappier on how we go to market with some of those different pieces, or who and how can help us to actually bring that forward. Again, because of our relationships, I think across the industry, we get an outsized impact when we do anything, which is amazing. But yes, we are counting every single dollar at any moment in a way that I have not done before.
But the relationship you speak to, these are Sarah Leinberger's relationships with different media agents?
Great question. I would say some of them are Yoobi, and based on who we are and the relationships that we've created as a company. And yes, some of them are Sarah Leinberger friends in my network that are helping me get things done. And so that is something too, I would say, coming from a big company to a small company, your network and your phone of friends are the way that you get things done so often. And so I'm so thankful for that experience in those bigger companies to have such a broad network of people who can help me. And then I've got my favorite phone of friends. And so Shri, I know I've called you a time or two too, just to get your advice and your mentorship. And so I am so appreciative for the people in my network who continue to do that for me.
Well, CPG guys are happy to help anyone who needs our network and our resources that we have here, because 35 years in the industry between Peter and me, collective 65 years, that's what we do today. If we don't give back, then that's just wrong. I hope you're doing the same thing, Sarah. How are you actually giving back to the CPG community and retail you've grown from? Tell us.
Yes, I have really enjoyed over the last couple of years stepping into the new opportunities to share knowledge, to show up as a mentor, to create connections across the industry. And so I'm trying to be as active as I can on kind of key tentpole events, speaking at different colleges and universities, taking mentorship calls, etc. And of course, you learn so much in those moments yourself, but also just continue to build such a strong network of really people that are just good-hearted people. And so I love being out there and creating those connections across the industry and finding where it can create connections for others.
So let's talk about your consumers now. So obviously most of your users are going to be in the below, is it Gen Z? What's the right word? I'm sure there's a new generational cohort of who your consumers are.
Yes, Gen Alpha.
Alpha, sorry. I'm just dating myself. So, but does it end there, or does Gen Z have a role here? Do parents have a role? How are they influencing your innovation cycle, your brand voice, your community building? Like, who's the majority of the communication? Is it one way, two way?
That's a great question. So for our Yoobi brand, our core consumer is really kind of the school age student, but we know that our products are fun and joy filled. And so we will often find parents and everyone else using their products. This is one of my favorites. So this is an example of like just I use this every single day.
You send me one of those.
And so that's our core consumer. Now, what's interesting though is we do also have a Target exclusive brand called Altitude that is very much focused on Gen Z. It is very trend forward.
So Altitude can only be found at Target?
Today it can, yes. Yep.
Gotcha.
And it is Gen Z, very focused on sustainability, and is something that is also really special. And so as we think to the future, we know there are tons of consumers that love and know our products, but there's more that could, or that there's new unique ways that we could show up. And so we really are thinking about the future, who we are, who we serve, what brands we need to continue to build to step into those moments.
What role does sustainability, inclusivity, or brand purpose play in your DNA? You kind of alluded earlier to giving back, but let's talk sustainability and inclusivity.
So I think anyone you meet from Yoobi, I think you will feel the passion of the mission at the core of kind of who we are and how we show up. So the give is kind of at the forefront of how we started and what is really important to us. But then what you'll see is that we are leading in the industry in terms of sustainability and recyclable packaging or goods. And so that's something that we are really, really proud of and will continue to stand for. And then in terms of inclusivity, we have got a heavily female leadership team. We are going out and bringing our products and our joy across the country to every single population that needs it. And so we are really the core of who we are in every single way is really socially driven. And like I said, I think if you ever meet anyone from the company, you will feel that holistically.
So above and beyond socially driven, let's talk sustainability though.
Yeah.
Is that an agenda topic? Or I don't understand the stationery world and sustainability at all. How does that even work?
So it's about either using recyclable goods or recycled products within our products, yes, and within like paper in itself. Yep. Also, many of we aim to have as reduced plastic within our packaging. We want our packaging to be actually like a carrier for our products, et cetera. And so we are thinking about our global impact within everything that we do and wanting to continue to be on the forefront of that within the industry.
Pretty straightforward. What's your vision? Sarah Leinberger came in. She's the VP of marketing. I mean, you're essentially playing a CMO role as the captain of marketing. What's your vision for Yoobi by 2026, and what does success personally look like to you? I'm not talking about the company's goals. What is Sarah Leinberger's vision, and what would make you feel, boy, I crushed it?
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest the unlock. Well, let me say this. Of course, it's about just doing what we're doing with bigger impact. But the two pieces that brings forward for me beyond just the mission and the give itself. AI being embedded into the heart of everything that we are doing. I just think that it is, it can be a superpower for us at Yoobi in a way that it can't be potentially for others because of our speed and nimbleness. And so I believe AI is going to unlock what used to take months to be possible within days. And that makes me very, very excited. And then the other thing for me, I think, is continuing to be as trend forward as we can. So we have already unlocked the power of some huge licenses and brands. I think what you'll continue to see from us and what success looks like for me is doing that in even a bigger way. And so look for Cat's Eye. I'm just kidding. No, but look for the biggest brands and the biggest relationships.
How about CPGGUYS pens?
Same but different.
I don't know if crayons would work, but pens maybe. We're not big enough.
With a little of this on top?
There we go. The pom-poms. That could be fun. But yes, Sarah, tell us your vision. What makes you feel you crushed it 18 months from today?
18 months from today, it is AI embedded in everything that we are doing. It is taking what used to take us months or weeks to be possible within days and being so insight, so insight driven, that it is a huge, powerful idea from the start. And then secondary, I think continuing to be trend and licensing led for the hottest properties for our kids and for the parents who are purchasing for them. We want the stuff that kids just can't wait to use and learn with in the classrooms.
Because our listeners are typically in the age group where they have younger kids as well, a large cohort of our listeners have, let's say, age 0 born to age 15. Talk to us about the licenses you already have and are in the marketplace today.
Yep. So you can find everything from Spider-Man to Barbie to Star Wars to Harry Potter to Smiley World to many others that you'll see soon. But when you think of the classic properties, Peanuts was a huge one for us this year. But each year, our goal is to continue to refresh that, bring forward the classics that we know people want, but continue to get even further ahead of designs and trends that we know are important to consumers to make sure we can bring that forward.
If I could ask you, these licensing properties, are they typically found just on crayons or across a plethora of your products?
All kinds of products. So we are really lucky that we've got a huge dynamic portfolio of capabilities. And so you can find it in writing stationery, lunch boxes, bento boxes, water bottles, pillows, blankets, desk lights, etc. And so a little bit of everything that you need to bring joy into your home and to the classroom.
So now that you mentioned blankets, pillows, I wasn't aware of that. So could you give us a highlight of all the categories you have products in, like a range of assortment?
Yeah, so range of assortment. I usually have like a show and tell here. But we do, I would say like that the biggest categories that we are really proud of, we've got notebooks, folders, we've got pencil cases, we have pens and pencils and journals and calendars. We've got blankets, pillows, lunch boxes, some home organization, a little bit of everything. And so stationery, lunch, soft goods, soft home goods.
So stationery, lunch, soft home goods. Hear you very clearly. Let's wrap this up with a question we ask anyone who comes from startups on the show, which is, for those transitioning from larger brands to follow your path or want to follow your path because of the excitement in the job, what advice would you give to those emerging CPG and entrepreneurs looking to navigate retail, media, and consumer demands today if they want to follow your path, move to a startup?
Yeah. So I will emphasize a couple things that I think have kind of been woven throughout, and then maybe a couple new ideas. But one, I would say this idea of being constantly curious and ingesting insights everywhere you go is just really, really important. You never know where that next big idea or insight might come from. And so that is something that just needs to be embedded within your DNA. I would say the other big thing for us is that retailers aren't just a distribution play. Like, they are truly our partners that we call when we get excited about an idea, and together we can bring that forward, and we can bring it forward really uniquely and quickly for them, which we are very, very proud of. But that is something that is just a totally different way of thinking. And then I would say the last, which I mentioned too, is your network is everything. So your network and the people that you are connected to are the people who are going to help you either navigate or get things done every single day. And at the end of the day, the challenges or the problems are all the same. You just have to learn how to operate in a slightly different way, which is really exciting. But you work new muscles that you might not have had before.
I can't stress the importance of curiosities. In a very large company, it's mostly fitting to a blueprint. They want you to fit into their culture. I got to imagine in a startup, they want you to bring your culture and enhance the whole cultural experience. Is that accurate?
Yes. Well, and I think every single person has such a huge impact on what the culture is itself. And so we are very lucky at Yoobi is that we are a team of amazing people. And to your point, every single person is creating the culture. There isn't necessarily an existing culture that is there that you need to conform to. You are responsible for creating that every single day.
What about risk taking? That's another one. A lot of people ask a lot of, in a large company, it's virtually impossible to take risks just because of the whole liability and the risk prevention being part of the marketing mantra. What happens in a smaller environment, startup environment? Calculated risks, is it just the name of the game?
Great question. I would say we are lucky that we have an amazing legal team that helps us vet risk And then to the point that sometimes it is a calculated risk, and it is something that is also actually really refreshing to see where, yes, there might be inherent risk within things, but we know if we don't take advantage of an opportunity, it will be gone tomorrow. And so we move really quickly with calculated risk to make things happen.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for this terrific conversation. Let me thank our audience for listening to this wonderful episode. Leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite listening platform. It informs us how we're doing, as well as if we're having the right conversations with the right people, like we did on Startups with Sarah Leinberger today. To all of you, thank you from Peter and me who make the show happen. To all our sponsors, whether this particular episode and podcast, our parties, events, hosted dinners, having us speak at panels, thank you deeply from our heart. Sarah, thank you so much for joining me today and recording this episode. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you, Shreya. This was amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
With that, that's a wrap of this episode. Wait for it off the CPG guys.
The content in this podcast episode is provided for general informational purposes only. By listening to our episode, you understand that no information contained in this episode should be construed as advice from CPG Guys LLC or the individual author, hosts, or guests, nor is it intended to be a substitute for research on any subject matter. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by CPG Guys LLC. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The views expressed by CPG Guys LLC do not represent the views of their employers or the entity they represent. CPG Guys LLC expressly disclaims any and all liability or responsibility for any direct, indirect, incidental, special, consequential, or other damages arising out of any individual's use of, reference to, or inability to use this podcast or the information we present in this podcast.